In this tutorial, you will learn tips and tricks for reading and interpreting a table of statistics. What we will review: Statistical Tables 101. What do the numbers mean and how you can determine what they mean? How to properly cite a statistical table, where do the numbers come from, and an example of improperly used data. Example 1. Understanding a basic table. In this example, we will demonstrate the steps in reading a table. It seems like it should be easy, but following these suggestions will help you avoid misinterpreting the information. Here are some tips that you can use for this example and for any other statistical table that you use. Identify what the table is covering. Identify the categories or variables in the table. Note the units being used for measurement, such as percentages, numbers, rates, indexes, and so on. Read the information in the table cells, and finally, read the notes below the table. In example 1, we're going to take a look at a complicated table of unemployment statistics. So first, let's start off with the easy stuff. What is the table covering? It's covering unemployment statistics, but let's break it down and look at the table, title, and subtitle. It reads labor force statistics from the Current Population Survey, also called CPS. You'll notice it is telling you where the data came from. Next is household data. The CPS is a monthly survey of households. It gathers data, among other things, on the number of unemployed people in a household. Below that it reads annual averages. Most everything reported in this table is an annual average. Any exceptions will be indicated on the individual lines. And finally, unemployed total and full-time workers by duration of unemployment. Review the note at the bottom of the table for an explanation of what full-time workers are. What are the categories? Duration of unemployment, total unemployed and percent distribution, full-time unemployed workers and percent distribution. What are the units? Numbers in thousands. When you see this written at the top of a table, it means you add 3 zeros to the numbers in the table. In this case, it's kind of tricky because it looks like the numbers are in thousands already. If you were to take the numbers at face value, it would not be indicated on the table. So total unemployed for 2010 is actually 14,825,000. Just think about it. If you didn't add the 3 zeros, 14,825 seems like an awfully small number for total unemployed for the whole U.S. What are the other units? Percent distribution, average or mean, and median, which is the middle number in an ordered list of numbers. If you don't know what something means in a table, you can look it up. Sometimes a table will link to or provide links to a glossary. Later in this tutorial, a glossary has been provided with some basic definitions. For reading the information in the table cells, there's something to note on how the duration of unemployment is laid out in the table. If you look in the left column, each indentation denotes a total, subtotal, or individual number. Total unemployed is furthest to the left. Next, less than 5 weeks and 5 to 14 weeks, slightly indented, these are subtotals. Indented even further are the individual entries for 5 to 10 weeks and 11 to 14 weeks. These lines add together will equal 5 to 14 weeks. This pattern continues down the table. This pattern is something subtle. It makes the table complicated and demonstrates the implicit nature of some of these data. Some tables are quite explicit in what they are attempting to convey, while others require a bit of reading and thinking and interpretation. Finally, is there anything significant in the notes? We've already looked at the note comment earlier. Let's look at footnote 1. It describes how the data collection has changed. A table packed full of data was intentionally selected for this example. I promise you, the next 2 examples will be much easier to read. Example 2 demonstrates percentiles and how to read them. In this example, we're looking at state and national wages for accountants and auditors, with their wages broken down by percentiles. So you'll see median, and as we remember from the previous slide, median is the middle. So in this case, 50% of accountants in the U.S. make below and above $62,900 a year. For Virginia, in the 75th percentile, which is a column that has the 75% above it, 89,600 is in the 75th percentile. Only 25% of accountants in Virginia make more than this amount of money. In the 10% column, this is the 10th percentile. The income is $41,500, and this is the yearly income in Virginia. This means that 10% of accountants in Virginia earn less and 90% earn more. Example 3 compares two related tables. What's relevant about these tables is that they show percent change or job growth for accountants and auditors. Based on some of the information we learned earlier, let's take a look at some questions that ask about how to read information in these tables. The first question is, why is the median pay in Table 1 different than the median pay for 2011, which is $62,900 from Example 2? The second question is the percent change for the U.S. and Virginia comparable, and why? Go to the next slide for answers. Here are the answers to the previous slides. For the first question, in Example 2, the median pay is for the year 2011. In Example 3, Table 1, the median pay is for the year 2010. So it's important to look at the year that the number is associated with to make sure that you are getting the right information for the right year and that the data is comparable. For question 2, if you look at the notes section below Table 2, it explains that the percent growth estimates are for different years. Projection period for state data is different than the projection period for national data. This is the end of the audio portion of this tutorial. The remaining slides you can take your time to read through on your own. They'll cover examples such as bad charts, suggestions for citing statistical tables in APA style, definitions of some commonly used statistical terms, frequently used places to get statistics on a topic, and finally, places to go to for more information.